tip for today. We're going to talk about your wealth container. So, is your wealth container big enough to hold the vision that you want to create? This is one of the key questions in order for you to be able to manifest amazing wealth in your coaching business. So if you're a spiritual coach, or you're a healer, or you're somebody who's in a personal transformation niche, which means your clients are having intangible results, as in not the ROI in the form of money, but ROI in the form of some sort of a personal transformation, it is the key that you are able to expand the container into which you want to land the wealth that will come through the universe via those clients or some other ways. So wealth container, it's a term that I use with my clients, but energetically what that means is essentially your capacity to attract and hold more wealth. So when our wealth container is very small, because there's shame, there's guilt, there's all this, but there's other people suffering, and poverty mentality and all sorts of issues and karmic patterns, we squeeze ourselves out of any abundance. So if you want to create abundance in your life, if you want your business to be very successful from the material standpoint in addition to service, then you want to really do a lot of inner work on growing that wealth container. So I always think of it kind of like a large cup, like imagine a big cup with a handle, like sort of like for a soup maybe. And that type of a cup is what you want to be sitting in. So you know how they used to have this crinoline skirts in the 1800s, which are this really big thing, and the ladies would walk around with this enormous skirt that was like 3 times bigger than her. So that's kind of the type of energy you want to think about when you're thinking of a wealth container. It's not the top part of your field, it's the bottom. This is the part that most spiritual entrepreneurs tend to miss. What I usually see is, and I work with people that like probably the most conscious people on the planet. Like they're so self-aware, they're incredible, they're super gifted, they have amazing ability to create like total miracles. They're such experts at what they do. And they all come into me and they look energetically like a mushroom. So you're noticing I'm describing visuals here. That's because I'm clairvoyant, so I can see energy from beginning of this lifetime, and clairsentient, so I'm connected to multidimensional perspective. That allows me to see you in a very different way. Makes me kind of a different business coach, because even though I can help you with the business strategy and marketing and sales and all of that, I also do it by watching your field and telling you what's aligned and what's not, and why, and how you can adjust it in order to be more aligned. So back to the mushroom. So most of those spiritually aware people that come to me tend to have the mushroom instead of an egg or a cup. So our energy field is actually sort of an egg shape. And if you're more developed on the top, it feels like this big mushroom top and a kind of a thin leg of a mushroom. So that's because a lot of times spiritual people who are sensitive, who are open to other realities, and whose intuition is really tuned in and all that stuff, they are able to perceive a lot in other dimensions, but not necessarily know how to land it here. This is one of my superpowers, is I help my clients translate all this multidimensional stuff into human speak so that they can land that spaceship in 3D and actually have a business that's profitable. So wealth container is about that. It's about how do you make the lower half of your field actually match the upper one. So people who are spiritual, who are evolved, who are mature, if you're a spiritual coach who's working at that level, like you know that you're a master at what you're doing, you're just like really awesome, that means you have that upper part of your field already set. And everybody always wants to like, how do I get more up there? How do I open my higher chakras and whatever? And kind of like most of the time, that's not the work. So unless you've never done any work, then yeah, you should open your higher chakras. But I'm not talking to necessarily people like that. I'm talking to you guys who are already consciously aware, who are already living your life with having that perception going on of more expanded range of reality. If you are that type, that means you already got your higher chakras open. You already got a lot going on in the higher part of your field. What you're missing though is the lower part, and that's the wealth container. That's the part that if you want to have money here, if you want to charge well for your offers and actually have people pay you, if you want to fully own the value of your work and be able to get the flow of wealth to you by you owning it, then you definitely need that lower half. That's where the money essentially comes into. So most of the time, that's the part that's actually underdeveloped in the people who are spiritually more advanced. And this is what I specialize in, is helping you grow that lower part to match the higher by watching where you are, what your superpowers are, what magic you bring, what are these amazing gifts, and what are you not quite owning. What are you sort of kind of putting to the side and not really going with, even though this is actually like this amazing thing in you? So I've seen that a lot in my clients when we start working, is that they come in with like, well, I have this offer and I do this with people. And then I look at them and there's like all this big sparkly thing going on. And it's like, okay, what about that? And then we start talking about that, and she's like, well, yeah, I kind of do it. In other words, there is no ownership of that magic, no claim of that as, hey, that is the value. A lot of times we minimize the value into this teeny little package, and that's sort of an immature way. I see a lot of the spiritual people do that. Spiritual coaches essentially tend to, like, if they're not really proficient down here, they take this higher thing and they land it down here, and then it becomes too like kind of simple, boring, like it's just too plain, like it loses all the magic. And then they go like, well, all right, I can kind of try to sell that, but their heart is not in it, right? So then they want to go back to this higher multidimensional thing, but nobody understands them, so they cannot get paid for that. And this is what I do, is I bring those two together. This is like amazing thing that I'm able to do to bridge the two sides. I have plenty of the structure and strategy, but at the same time, because I can see energy and I have access to all this multi-D stuff, I know how to translate that into here in a way that does not lose the magic, that you can still bring all this effort in the correct way, so that you're not efforting for no reason, just making it hard on yourself, but instead you're actually enjoying what you're doing, because you're bringing very specific energy for yourself into what you are trying to create. So that's all this work is about: expanding your wealth container, translating better what you do to bring it here. Because if you cannot articulate correctly the value of your non-tangible work, then it will not be able to land in the wealth container, right? So those are the pieces that I work with my clients. So if you notice that, like, okay, I'm super curious about this wealth container thing, I'm totally this type of a person, Eugenia, I got all this big mushroom going on and I have no idea how to kind of make it work here, and when I try to, it feels kind of flat, something is missing, and I know that I have this amazing thing to bring. If you're already at the level where you're seeing clients, paying clients, you're generating some income. I don't work with totally new coaches who are just starting. So you already need to be at the level where you're having some income, even if it's $2,000-3,000 a month, but that's happening sort of all the time. And sometimes maybe you have 8,000 months or 10,000 months, and sometimes less, and you go up and down. Maybe you have 20,000 months, but then it drops down. So that inconsistency thing and the bigger picture is what I work with. This is the combination of problems that I solve. So if this is you, I would love to help you, because I know exactly how to help you. This is literally what I do, and I'm really good at it. So I would love to bring you into alignment with that higher thing, land it down here, translate it so that people can actually understand your gift, and the work that you can do as a personal transformation will then be reflected externally. So all of that goes back to expanding your own wealth container. If this is what you want, if this is what you inside you in your heart of hearts feeling like, oh my God, this is what I've been missing, the link is in description. Click on that link and we'll set up a chat, and I can actually look at what's going on with you and where you are and how we can help you have that experience that you've been dreaming about in your business. All right. My love to you. Bye.